Hello, it's Burgess Taylor, and second part of this series of the week three. The second part of week three, I'm actually going to show you a lot of the journal supplies that I use. There are a few things that I show you that aren't actual supplies, and I talk about, and it's a rather long video. So be prepared. You might want to grab a cup of coffee or something. For this part, I thought I'd just talk about a few things because I think it's kind of important that you think outside of the box sometimes, because there are a lot of things that you can use in your journal that aren't necessarily like journaling, but are. One of the things I do is I take pictures with my camera. I don't use my cell phone, but you could use your cell phone. I don't have one of those little handy dandy HP sprockets that I really want, or the Canon selfie. I just use my camera, and I have a Canon printer, and I have a Canon camera, and it's called the Garden Center or something like that, and you can go in Canon, or you could get an app, and you can do collages and different things. I use a lot of 4x6s, and I usually end up printing 4 to 6 pictures on the 4x6, so they come out to be about the same size that you're printing on that little Polaroid zip or the Canon selfie or whatever. I also use an instant camera, the Fujifilm instant camera. I think it's called the Instax, something like that. Last time I said it, somebody corrected me, so it's the instant camera. I have my original Kodak up there. It's the Kodak handle, printed the bigger Polaroids. These are really cute. They, however, are a little bit thick, so they can make your journal kind of chunky. But I love the way these look, and I enjoy putting them in there, and I don't mind a chunky journal. So that's one of the things that I use, because we take a lot of pictures nowadays. I've always taken a lot of pictures of my kids and stuff. I have tons of pictures. So one of the other things I do is I have a bowl. It sits on my printer. Well, actually, it sits beside my printer. And if I get something, like it comes to this, I can cut this out and put it on my journal page. As a matter of fact, I need to. I recently got, you're going to see it, I got a watercolor palette, the Fusion 18, I think it is. It's by Mission. And this came in it, this pamphlet, and it has all kinds of good little pictures in it. So I'll be using some of the pictures in that for my journal. I use brochures that come from places that I visit. You can use map. This book belonged to my son. He had like 4 or 5 of these from all these different countries. I use the pages sometimes to draw from, and sometimes to take the pictures out of and put them in my journal on the pages. You can go to the thrift store. I picked up little books for 25 cents that have illustrations in them. All kinds of little cards, all kinds of little things. Here's another little pamphlet brochure that came with, I think, one of the Hobonichis. I use the little cards. I have letter stickers and puffy stickers. A lot of the puffy stickers and stuff like that come from Dollar Tree. I also, if I get anything, like this came from McDonald's and a Happy Meal for my grandson. So I have a few of those little animal cards. I use those. You can use Post-it notes for quotes. I have a little plastic envelope filled with all kinds of little bits and pieces of paper that Halloween stuff. It has the big pamphlet that came from the Hobonichi store. I haven't gotten to that yet. If I get mail from somewhere, like I ordered a notebook or a pen or something, and I got this in the mail, so I will be using that. Lots of times when I'm doing watercolor, this is a piece of watercolor paper. I use it to get the watercolor, the leftover watercolor off of. And I can use this to put in my journal page and write a quote over it or draw a picture or whatever. This came in the mail. They wanted me to subscribe, so I saved it because I'm going to use some of the pictures. All different kinds of things like that. Little pieces of scrapbook paper that you use in a project can go in the background behind a photo. Another thing that's really great are magazines like Flow magazine. They have really pretty pictures. Daphne's Diary, which is over there. Another thing, you can get free magazines from different places. Advertisements that come in your mailbox for department stores, places that want you to subscribe to them. This came in the mail. I actually, if you could see where I cut something out of it, they sent me something in the mail, and I saved these because sometimes I like to use the different pieces of what's in there. Like sometimes I'll use a face, sometimes I'll use a body. Magazines. Magazines. You can get magazines free in the library. I use a lot of stuff like that. If I don't have washi tape that I want, sometimes I'll draw it. I'll take little markers and I'll draw it. And I make my own DIY washi tape right on the page, and it looks like washi tape. There are all kinds of things that you can use that are budget friendly or that are DIY or that are just really fun to make and create for your journal pages. I use a lot of different things. You can take old calendars, the pocket size or the desk ones or the ones that go on the wall that have the really pretty pictures, and you can take all those pictures. Some little desk calendars that have quotes and stuff, you can use those in your journal. There are all kinds of things that you can use in your journal that maybe we don't really think about. I tried the new M&Ms, the new coffee nut M&Ms, and I cut out the little emblem and put it in my journal page. Sometimes I keep receipts, or I keep the label off of a receipt. I'll keep the label off of packaging, and things like that, and I use those in my journal pages. I do a lot of different things in my journal pages to add touches of real life everyday ephemera. Especially if I look in a magazine, it has a recipe and I try the recipe, I'll cut out the picture of the recipe and I'll write it down, and then on an index card I can write down the actual recipe itself, and I can paperclip it in my journal or put it in the box that I have of index cards for recipes. There are all different kinds of things that you can use for your journal as far as supplies go. When I think of supplies, I don't always necessarily think of the pen and paints and washi tape and stuff like that. I also think of other things that I can use in my journal that are pieces of real life ephemera. One of my favorite things sometimes to add, especially if I add a picture, are what are these word, phrase, sentence stickers. I love those. If you are doing something special, they have little, you can make your own or you can buy, they have a little set. It's a little pocket envelope and it's the acetate cellophane, so you can glue this side to your journal page, put what you want in there, especially if the front piece has writing, because it will kind of show through. And you have a little envelope you can actually put in on your page for fancy stuff, or pictures, or little receipt stubs, or tickets, or anything really that you wanted in there that would fit in there. You can do them in different sizes, or you can make them yourself. A lot of times when you order things, they come in those little cellophane wrappers that fold over like this. They're clear. Well, you could do that yourself, cut it to size, and glue it. I have a hot glue gun. I can make all kinds of things with a hot glue gun. But you could put a scrapbook paper down first and then glue this. If it were clear and it had nothing fancy on it like this one does, you could glue it down on top of the scrapbook paper. Just make your scrapbook paper the same size as your envelope, and then that pretty stuff, picture or words or pattern or whatever, pops through from the clear little pocket. I haven't added a lot of that kind of stuff lately to my journal. I did the first year I was doing this kind of journaling. I added a lot of fancy stuff like that. But this past year has been more real everyday ephemera. I do on occasion add little pockets. I just found these when I cleaned up my space and I didn't remember that I had them. I had stuck them somewhere to keep safe so I could use them, and I put them in such a safe place that then I couldn't find them. That happens to me sometimes. But I find a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, and I try to keep my mind open to when things come in, advertisements that come in the mail, brochures, anything, maps, magazines, looking at different things. Because sometimes things will come in the mail like this, and you have, and you're like, oh, well, you might see words on pages or pictures in pages that you could actually use in your journal. So, like if you were doing something and it was the 7th, or you could use the word 7, or you could use the word avenue or whatever. But if you could cut out the words. I mean, this has some cute house stuff in it, but mostly I kept it because it actually had like little kitchen things and different things and chairs and all kinds of lamps, and I cut it out for vision board, inspiration board kind of things. because those are really good ideas. Magazines are really good. I don't know about Consumer Reports because I ended up with this one free. Best overall. I could cut out the word best. I could cut out the word overall because like the other last Christmas I got my dad overalls for Christmas. You could cut out words and things like that to use in your journal. So just a bit of a introduction to what all I'm kind of going to cover. I'm going to go over different things because I think supplies are a lot more personal than just your pens and papers and watercolors and acrylic paints and stickers and bits of ephemera and things like that. I think you really have to gear what you use towards how you like to journal and the kind of journaling you like to do. Because to be honest, to journal, all you really need is a notebook and a pen or a pencil, preferably pen. But if you're going to add things to your journal pages, then you're going to want other things. So what do you do for those other things? Are you going to watercolor? Are you going to use markers? Are you going to use crayons? Are you going to use colored pencils? Are you going to use watercolor pencils? Are you going to use distress stains, which I don't have a lot of, and I didn't talk about in the video that's going to be coming. I didn't talk about that. I have a brown, a blue, and a green. I need a purple and a pink, or a purple and a yellow, or a couple of, I would like the primary 7 colors that, or whatever that, the ones that come in the crayon box, the big fat crayons that you get for kids. I'd like those main colors is what I'd actually like, because to go with these more vintagey ones, because the blue and the green and the brown that I have are kind of like vintage kind of stains. They're more like the distressed look, and I want some of the more vibrant, I want the Crayola colors. That's what I would like to have. I make my own Mod Podge. A lot of people use all different kinds of things. They're matte mediums and things like that. I just make my own Mod Podge out of Elmer's glue and water. And I bought this bottle from Dollar Tree, and I've been using it ever since. It's been beat up and everything, but I just make my own Mod Podge. And I do that for collage stuff, so I use that. And that's about it, y'all. If you have any questions or you want to talk about things other than what's going to be in this video and the other video, please feel free to do so. I will answer as many questions as I can. Like I said, I am not a professional. I've had a lot of people ask a lot of questions, and I thought I'd answer them in video format in a series. So next week, we'll be covering something else. I believe next week is the when do I journal? And so I'm going to be doing some filming of me doing morning pages of when I do my actual journaling during the day. And I will be doing some evening pages and things like that. I will be time-lapsing that and doing a narration. If you have any questions about like the when I journal, feel free to put them in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and make sure you give me a thumbs up. I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.